All right, hi everybody. I'd like to say I do acknowledge my voice is still super scratchy. I'm getting over whatever has been going around in this region of the world, and I hope that this doesn't detract from the message, And I also would like to apologize that it's been a second since I posted, and I just like to say sometimes life gets busy. Life gets sort of like distracting and it happens. And so, hello. I'm here with the same drive and initiative that I hope you all are still super supportive. Um, Anyway, so a couple days ago, I think over the weekend, I was organizing my calendar and I remembered that March is such a huge month of celebration internationally, especially for women's rights and women's advocacy for justice. And that reminder then prompted me to think about all of the other international recognitions and celebration dates that so many people are unaware of, just for a multitude of reasons. And so that made me think that it'd be really, really informative and a great resource to incorporate and share the International UN calendar of celebrations and holidays and the recognition on a monthly basis, the rights of that acknowledgement on this channel, Voices for Justice LTB. Now, what I love about the UN recognition of holidays is that every one of the international holidays impact and affect our global community in a positive direction. And surprisingly, over 50% of the calendar days of the international recognition dedicated to each date is consuming of each year. So 50% of the days of each year are allocated to an international recognition, which is absolutely amazing. So also as a sort of like side note, I really want every single person who is watching this to know that over the course of any given year or any given month, this phenomenal commitment and international celebration, amongst which there will be days which are celebratory days, which I delve into a bit deeper and sort of with like direct attention to than others. And that is not any comparison of the totality or importance of any given month or celebration or particular event throughout the year. Placing focus on certain days is not me prioritizing one of the international recognitions over another. All of these dates that the UN acknowledges and praises have an international message of significance. But I think, of course, it's realistic to think that there are individual and there are certain events and experiences for which I or any other individual feel like my heart and knowledge are involved in and have been impacted by, and which really fosters like a genuine and true compassion and a sense of relatability in one form of another. So, with regard to offering or like me sort of projecting any particular social platform or that I place a considerable amount of importance on, I'm just trying to be authentic and I'm trying to present a picture that is true and placing a focus on the message being presented behind my videos. I do not want to pretend like I am all knowing and have an experience of every single one of these international recognitions. And so I do not want that to be taken as a bias, but rather than sort of an acceptance of the value of contribution, of everybody else throughout this platform to be able to share their experiences to inform everybody. I dedicate myself to the celebration of international rights towards the issues that I feel an affiliation with, I feel connected to. And in order to celebrate that cause, to me at least, for me to celebrate a cause, I feel like I have to have knowledge of and a sincere consideration and awareness and sense of dedication towards the substantive celebration of those dates. And I'll be honest, if I were to sit here and say or act as if I have had enough experience or knowledge and heartfelt attachment to every single international holiday throughout the year. I would be a complete phony. I mean, that's unrealistic, at least for me. But what I love is the idea and the sort of opportunity for sharing these dates, and the idea that in a positive way, facilitates international, at least awareness and an opportunity directed towards an audience that can speak more towards many of the international holidays that I do not expand upon. I think that it would be awesome and it would be awesome, and I definitely welcome the knowledge and the experience of my viewers, and that will enhance the underlying goals of this channel. Might I just remind all of my viewers that this channel is not established as part of a platform for conflict, competition, and an audience that needs to have an argument about certain issues. I think that there's a place and a time for that to take hold. I'm just sharing international dates, and I'm presenting certain dates with the knowledge that I have and experience I have within those issues. And so I'd appreciate if the sharing of certain issues and the sharing of experience behind international dates remains in a positive direction without creating sort of like a conflicting viewership or conversation. All right, so let me just think about this. So I know that this sort of recent commitment that I've had towards spreading this international acknowledgement of international celebration is very recent. And so I think I just said that. But anyway, it's very recent, and I sort of like have dropped the ball in the beginning of the month, and so I'm going to jump back to the beginning of not only this month, but also the beginning of the year of 2025 to highlight the internationally recognized days, which are part of my global efforts in experiencing compassion. And then I hope to ensure you that each of the days of the year from every individual perspective should be paid attention to, and the dates which I hold in high esteem are those that I'm able to speak towards and contribute to, like I said before, in a united effort to promote change with respect to universal rights. And although I've skipped over a few of these ones that I'm going to jump back to, there's a link to the calendar of international holidays presented on the UN website, and I will shout that out, and then I'll put it as an attachment. It's www.timeanddate.com/holiday/UN. Okay, so you can find the calendar there of all the dates for 2025. So let me just bring us up to where we are. So there are several holidays that bring us into each new year, but I'm going to jump all the way to January 27th, which is the International Day of Commemoration in Memory of Victims of the Holocaust. So this day is a critical day in the realm of human rights to honor and value, because it celebrates what essentially becomes the catalyst to the global acknowledgement and awareness of the fundamental rights, and has stood the test of time in the basis of human rights today. And the international post-war reaction to the aftermath of World War II in the mid-1940s, it necessitated the Nuremberg trials. So the awareness of global concern and that which resulted from those trials led to the establishment of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the UDHR, which was put into effect in 1948. And it is the very foundation and recognition and promotion of international human rights. The Holocaust, sadly, created an international response addressed through the Nuremberg trials, and thus emerged the UDHR as a commitment to the absolute recognition of global rights despite any differences amongst us. It's possibly one of the most, if not the most, essential international agreements that harnesses a global pursuit amongst the fellowship of humans to pave the pathways of justice in a positive direction. And it is still the foundation which sort of guides us up until this very moment today. So let's move on, jump towards February. I know that it's like the end of February right now, but let's jazz through that. I want to just target the International Day of Zero Tolerance for FGM, which is female genital mutilation. This issue is near and dear to my heart just because of my direct research, interaction with, and hands-on commitment to the issue. The holiday was first acknowledged at the turn of the century. And while the majority of my experience and my focus was directed towards one specific region of one specific continent within, the global atmosphere, this is a concern that exists throughout the world, and very, a lot of different dynamics. And the UN's incorporation of this concern and attention towards FGM is deserving recognition, and the international pursuit of human rights is very important and deserves at least an awareness of. Moving forward, February 20th is the World Day of Social Justice. And again, this is a super broad category of celebration, very similar to the basic recognition and that which was presented by the UDHR. But it's indicative of this still evolving effort towards social change and movement in a positive direction. I think it reached official recognition while I was still in law school. So that would have been maybe 2007, 2008, and supports a fairly recent acknowledgement of international rights with a narrowed focus on what social justice means and the international sort of context of awareness and prioritization of that component of human rights. Let me think about this. I think that I'm caught up to some degree, and what I hope to achieve leading up into the beginning of each month is that I will create a post that sort of brushes over the days of celebration for that coming month, maybe speaking briefly to given dates of acknowledgement that are like closer to my heart, but primarily to allow my viewers to get a quick overview of the upcoming international celebrations, and then hopefully you all, the people engaged in this underlying message behind the channel Voices of Justice LTB, will then contribute to the substance of in relation to the international issues. All right, so let me think. I got to turn my calendar to March. All right, so March. All right, let me just zip through, and I say zip through like I'm going to do this quickly, but I'm going to try. Zip through the complete list of international celebrated holidays in the month of March. Again, I hope to facilitate an engaged celebration of these globally impactful issues amongst you all. So the 1st of March marks Zero Discrimination Day and the World Seagrass Day. March 3rd is World Wildlife Day. And the 5th is International Day for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Awareness. Then, let me think, on March 8th, I have to pause just a moment because I need to express that this day in particular represents one of the most personally impactful and a major source of my internationally focused drive. And this is the International Women's Day. I'm going to hold for now, at least, to express my sort of personal commitment and affiliation with this day until once it arrives. I just wanted to put it out there. In the same vein, 2 days later is this year, it's March the 10th, and that is the International Day of Women Judges. Again, I will refrain from delving into the topic now, but this is a day that I am so proud of on a global scale because it acknowledges women and their role and the role that which they play with respect to access to justice, which is phenomenal. And I'm very, very proud that that is like part of this UN calendar because it is so very important. These 2 days I cherish with so much compassion and experience and knowledge and strength and hope. Are just true to my heart, and I will share deeper and delve deeper into those dates once they arrive in March. All right, so sorry about that. I blocked you with my calendar. March 15th, International Day to Combat Islamophobia. March 20th is the International Day of Happiness. And all right, I have to pause and remark here. When I was going through the calendar and when I came across this celebration on the UN calendar, I thought, how in the world have I like overlooked this particular date of celebration until just now in 2025? And I was really sort of like punishing myself. And then after inquiring a bit into the backdrop, I realized that the celebration didn't receive international recognition until March of 24, so just like last year. So I did forgive myself just a little bit. So just talking about this in general, I think this is wonderful. Let's think about happiness. It is so important, and I am thrilled that it is included in the International Acknowledgement Index of Dates because happiness is rooted in a perspective of positivity and is an overarching category of thought that covers so many human experiences and circumstances. Happiness is simply the core and the root to a forward-facing and hopeful human experience and perspective. And yay for every illustration of happiness that is occurring at this very moment. I hope that when March 20th comes around, we are able to sort of zero in on, examples throughout that day that really acknowledge the happiness that is existing in one another's lives and can be a positive sort of reinforcement even in like the littlest bit. The 20th is also French Language Day. And then March 21st, there's a slew of observances. Okay, so let's think about the 21st honors the World Day for Glaciers, the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, which pays respect to circumstances faced by a multitude of areas throughout the world and is a foremost priority at the international level, which is very much linked in this rising to levels of concerns amongst nation states that has sort of begun itself at a national level. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of discussion on the 21st about that. March 21st marks the beginning of the week of solidarity with respect to people struggling. I dropped my earbud. I told you I'm a normal person. The week of solidarity. Can you hear me? Let me try again. March 21st marks the beginning of the week of solidarity with people struggling against racism and racial discrimination, and that's March 21st through the 27th. Then we have the International Day of Forests, the World Poetry Day, the International Day of Nowruz, and the World Down Syndrome Day. Those are all commemorated on March 21st. Okay, I've blown through that busy day and the opportunity for solidarity around the world. So moving on, March 22nd is World Water Day, sorry. And March 23rd, we have World Meteorological Day, and the 24th recognizes World Tuberculosis Day. That also recognizes as well the International Day for the rights and the truth concerning gross human rights violations and for the dignity of victims. this goes back to some of my other dates that I've addressed. I'll speak a bit more and delve into at least my experience with this particular topic later in March. Turning my calendar. All right, here we go. March 25th marks the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. And it also is the International Day of Solidarity with detained and missing staff members. And then we get to the conclusion of March, which is March 30th, paying homage to the International Day of Zero Waste. Whew. Okay, I feel like I said all of that in one breath, but let's say March is a huge month of celebration that I encourage every single person and everybody who's listening to bring voice to and participate in. I truly believe that it is the viewers and the subscribers of this channel who establish a global platform that is like well beyond my depth of knowledge and my experience. I'm only one person, and the purpose of this channel has nothing to do with me in particular. It has to do with the message, you know, being voiced to any viewer, any subscriber, or any person who comes across it in a global context. I really do appreciate all of the support and the backing on these global matters and issues up to this point, and truly witnessing such strength amongst you all, you know, anyone who's viewing this now, or subscribers or past viewers. Really, that is what sparks the fire in my personal commitment and efforts and passion. And so I really do thank you so much. I thank you very much for, you know, re-engaging in this channel. And you know, peace and positivity are the biggest, you know, effort that I'm making. Let's not cause conflict and controversy on this platform. Let's try to provide each other with substantive information and celebrate like the unity amongst each other rather than the differences. And anyway, I will be back soon. Hope you got a coverage a little bit of the beginning of the year, and I promise to keep us updated moving throughout the year. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.